strategic partnership, funding, and whatnot. So next up, we would like to tell you the story of the overall performance of the National Mine Action Program. And to deliver this presentation, let me cordially invite to the podium Mr. Naomi, the Additional Secretary for Projects at the Ministry of Urban Development, Construction and Housing, as well as the National Director of the National Mine Action Centre. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Naomi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Minister of Urban Development, Construction and Housing, Honorable Governor of Northern Province and Secretary to the Ministry of Urban Development, Construction and Housing, and Ms. Mezelberg Osa, Program Manager and also Senior Advisor to Geneva International Center for Humanitarian Development, and Your Excellencies of the diplomatic missions in Sri Lanka, distinguished ambassadors and high commissioners, and secretaries of other ministries, additional secretaries of the ministries, and distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, directors, program managers, mine action sector personnel. Once again, I welcome all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's both an honor and a privilege to address you today at this dawn appreciation and coordination meeting held under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister. We are gathered here to reflect on the progress of Sri Lanka's National Mine Action Program, to express our sincere gratitude for the unwavering support of our international and national partners, and to look together towards a path ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka's journey in humanitarian mine action began during the peace process in 2002, when demining operations were initiated in the northern and eastern provinces. The early stage of clearance was supported by Sri Lanka Army and several international NGOs with strong technical support from UNDP. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2010, the National Mine Action Centre, we call it NMAC, was established to serve as a national authority for coordinating all mine action activities. Following these three regional mine action centers opened in Jaffna and also Vaunia and Mena, enabling us to decentralize and strengthen operational capacity on the ground. A major leap forward came after 2015 with the support of Geneva International Center for Humanitarian Demining, GICHD. Sri Lanka adopted strategic planning framework that aligned with global mine action standards. The second National Mine Action Strategy was launched in 2016, and importantly, Sri Lanka acceded to Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention, it's commonly known as Ottawa Convention, in 2018. In 2022, we introduced our third National Mine Action Completion Strategy 2023 to 2027, aimed at guiding the final phase of our clearance journey. As part of this strategy, the completion survey began in December 2023 with preparatory work carried out since September. Early this year, the Cabinet of Ministers authorized the continuation of National Mine Action operation until 2027, providing critical policy backing of our work. Ladies and gentlemen, mine action framework and obligations. Sri Lanka's mine action activities are built on 5 internationally recognized pillars: surveys and demining, explosive ordnance of risk education, we call it EORD, victim assistance, stockpile destruction, and advocacy. As a party, as a state party to Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention, Sri Lanka is legally bound to destroy all stockpile anti-personnel mines completed by June 2022, 1 year ahead, and clear all mines areas by the Article 5 deadline currently is June 2028. Submit annual transparency report to the UN Secretary General. That is an obligation under Article 7 of Ottawa Convention. The Geneva International Center for Humanitarian Demining continues to provide critical support to Sri Lanka's mine action program through donor coordination, technical expertise, strategic planning, and information management. Our achievements have been made possible through the generous support of donor countries including Australia, Canada, the European Union, Germany, Japan, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and the United States of America. We also gratefully acknowledge the support previously extended by the Government of India. From 2010 to 2024, our donor countries have contributed over 250 million US dollars to Sri Lanka Mine Action Program. It is a grant. It's not a loan, it's a grant. This includes US dollar 113 million since 2019, supporting not only mine clearance but also the development and resettlement of communities affected by explosive hazards. Ladies and gentlemen, we also recognize the critical role played by UNDP, which supported the streamlining of mine action program from 2010 to 2013, and UNICEF, which contributed significantly to explosive ordnance risk education (EORE) until 2015. We sincerely appreciate the continued coordination and technical guidance of GICHD and look forward to your ongoing support to strengthen national capacities and accelerate our journey toward a mine-free Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka has made a remarkable progress in mine action. The total area of suspected and confirmed hazardous area has been reduced from over 254 square kilometers to just 23 square kilometers. Over 1 million anti-personnel mines and 2,256 anti-tank mines and 380,096 unexploded ordnance UXOs have been cleared. A total of 1,297 square kilometers has been released to local communities through clearance, technical survey, and non-technical survey. These efforts have had significant development. Impact 900,000 internally displaced persons, IDPs, have been safely resettled. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from that, agriculture, fishing, and other livelihood activities have resumed, and infrastructure such as road, railway, and communication network has been restored, and communities now have safe access to health and education facilities. Notable example of impact included the Mena rice bowl, paddy fields, the northern railway from Omante to Kakesanturi, the heavily mined Muhammali area, the Kokaville communication tower, and area surrounding the Madhu Church. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to effective EORE intervention, landmine casualties have drastically declined. You can see, and when we started the program, and the casualties was around 240. Now, in some years, and some years it is 0, some years 1 or 2. And in 2024, only 3 casualties were reported. Sri Lanka is now a member of Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention on Victim Assistance 2025 to 2026, alongside Austria, Netherlands, and Burkina Faso. Ladies and gentlemen, despite our success, New challenges have emerged, achieving our Article 5 deadline of June 2028 is becoming increasingly difficult. Let me explain why. Previously unknown contaminated areas are being discovered through the ongoing completion survey. Many minefields are larger than we expected, and there has been a 9% drop in international funding in 2024 compared to the previous years. And the staff retention and the funding from the government, those are the challenges we are facing now. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka's program, and we have two international organizations and there are two local organizations, and MAG and Hello, international organization, and Dash and Shah, local organizations, are funded at 45% as of April 2025 compared to 2024. I mean, we received in 2024 $17.5 million funding level. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, Article 5 completion by 2028 only possible if funding increases by 30% in 2025 and another 30% in 2026 based on 2024 funding level. And a funding reduction of 10% or more compared to 2024 will extend Sri Lanka's completion timeline beyond 2027. The government of Sri Lanka will need to submit an Article 5 extension request while simultaneously working to mobilize resources and strengthen our national capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, our message today is twofold: gratitude and also appeal. We are deeply thankful for our continued trust, commitment and generosity. Your contribution has saved lives, restored communities and brought hope to thousands. At the same time, we urge you to sustain and scale up your support during this critical final phase. With strengthened partnership, increased funding and strategic coordination, we can still achieve the dream of a mine-free Sri Lanka perhaps by 2028 or very soon thereafter. Let us continue this journey together, guided by our shared commitment to peace, safety and human dignity. Thank you once again for your presence, for your support and for walking with us towards a safer and mine-free future. Thank you very much.